people who've commented in the question box. So please make sure you comment in the question box if you want a copy of this. You don't have to put an email address, just your comment alone saying, hello, I love this Google partner. I love, Dallas, Texas, wherever you're at, whatever you're saying, when the people who've commented in the question box, and when the system picks that up, now it'll know that you want a copy of today's. Yes, there you go. I love it, Pam. I love it. You're starting it out with I love New Mexico out. So absolutely, you'll get a copy of today's recording, and I'll tell you in a little bit how to get a copy of today's slides, but this will start with a recording. Now, just know that I will finish on time, if not before. So do know that I will be very, very respectful of your time, but I like to keep our time highly interactive so you can ask your questions in real time and get them responded. But do know if it's a lengthy question or if it's really long, more than 2 sentences, then what will happen is I'll save that to the end and we'll chat about it then. Now, when I do that, I will turn off the recording. So there's no recording of the lengthy questions at the end. This is really to preserve your privacy, because sometimes you share details with me about your business that you just don't want recorded and left out there for anything or anyone. But also it is a benefit to the people who've hung here for a while, because hey, you have spent time here. I definitely want to be able to assist you, be it a question that you have about this or even anything else Google. You're just excited to be in front of a Googler, right? So now you're going to ask your questions. We'll save those to the end. All right. So I see everybody here. Yes, absolutely. Love and hearts and love. Laura, thank you. Nora, let's go ahead and get started. Remember, if you need closed caption, that's a real live person there. Brooke, thank you for keeping up with me. If you're tweeting or posting, use the hashtag Grow with Google. Google then will watch this and see it and know that they need to create more boot camps, which I love. And then also, if you want to tag me, this is me on Twitter, this is me on Instagram. And as the Greater Houston LGBT Chamber knows, I will retweet and repost you, won't I? Just the same thing with TST, Transition Skills Training. I'll do that too. All right, everybody, let's dive in. We've got a lot to cover, and we're going to be talking about advertising on Google. Now, everything that I've been talking about in Business Bootcamp has been 100% free, because I'm a bootstrap marketer, and I believe you've got to get free down first. And many of you did not know until you've been into bootcamp all of the different tools that you have access to 100% free through your free personal Gmail or free Google account. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of the paid version, but understand that the bootstrap marketer in me cannot be settled down. So I will definitely cover what you can use for free and don't even have to put your credit card in to use in the tool. And then later, of course, then you might want to decide to actually do some ads. Once you've got all your ducks in the row, you know exactly what your message is. You've got your SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. You SMART test all your goals. And now you know exactly where you're going to send them on your website, and you're ready to promote. That way you're getting the most return on your investment, most bang on your buck. And that's really important, considering you as a small business, I know, rely a lot on cash flow, and we cannot be spending on things that are not lifting the bottom line or getting us closer to our goal, right? All right, hello, Alfreda, I see you. You're in Frisco with Style and Stage Blowout Bar. Wonderful. Good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, works in Frisco in the Economic Development Center, John Land. He's one of my best buds, and I've had a chance to go to Frisco actually and do some live in-person trainings before Google, after Google. So definitely I would love to do that too when we get back to a little bit more traveling. We're also going to talk about how you can improve your ads. So you may already be advertising, but there might be small things that you need to tweak there that will help you reach and get a better result from your ads. We'll talk essentially or very in-depth about measuring success, because if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting the bottom line or getting you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. Perfect. Yep. Amplifying, Tammy. Exactly. And you're already advertising, Renee. That's great. What kind of ads are you using, Renee, with the Houston Federal Credit Union with Google? Are you using YouTube ads, Google display ads, Google search ads? I would love to know a little bit more. Just let me know in the question box. And then also recap and resources, always leaving you with something free or small fee, but mostly free. And then of course, I'd like to encourage you to apply what you've learned, because you've just spent 4 days, or maybe just today, even the last 60 minutes when we get going on this, learning something. And in order for it to be helpful to you, you have to apply what you've learned. So I love hearing that part. That's really my favorite part. So Renee, you're doing Google Ads, used to use Google AdWords, right? It was known as Google AdWords back before. For autos and mortgages, ooh, and autos and mortgages, those are highly competitive terms. So I'd love to see how you actually were searching for your keyword terms, because those can get pretty expensive cost per click. So let's talk about how we advertise on Google. We know people are going here, right? You've covered this enough in all of our sessions in bootcamp that they go here first when they want to know, go, do, or buy. And sometimes we are looking for things that maybe we're in the looking zone, we're all ready to buy something, or maybe we're just trying to find a solution. So we don't even know that there's a service or a product that can help us. So what happens is when somebody's looking for what they're looking for, they go to Google trying to look for the answer, right? Because this is where we go when we want to know, go, do, or buy. And then they might see ads popping up that give them a little bit more visibility than the first page of an organic search. And when they do this, it actually is denoted as an ad here. You see that in text, or if you have photos at the very top, those are usually shopping ads. Those are paid positions, and they will click on there to find out a little bit more. Now, there are several ad formats, just like you heard me saying that Renee does. Yes, they got good organic search results for Houston. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Then your account has already some good, rich, original zero data history. So that's data that's coming directly from people who are looking at your ads, which is really good because industry standards are a great place to start, but they're kind of the baseline. Then you need to go up from that with your own actual data and compare yourself to yourself, and then even take some insights and make some decisions from that. Just like we were talking about yesterday when we talked about making better business decisions with analytics. So with the ad formats, we know there's text ads, there's image ads, there's shopping ads, which are usually right up here at the very top. There's dynamic search ads, so something that somebody's specifically looking for and it's adjusting for them. Call only ads. I work with a lot of service-based businesses who don't have time or even want to work and worry about the time of somebody going to their site and filling in a form because they are in an immediate need. You know, somebody just got a flat tire, so they need to be able to call. So they want only their ads to show up when people are ready to make that call. Or video ads, which we've seen quite a bit on YouTube. So for this workshop, I'm going to focus on some of the basics because it is called Learn the Basics of Google Ads. And I'm happy to help you with any other questions towards the end, but let's get some of the basics down and be sure that we're not getting anything in our way of optimizing or that's costing us more in our ads. So the first I'll start with is actually pay-per-click text ads. So what that means is you only pay when somebody clicks. PPC, pay-per-click, CPC, cost per click. Or it also could be, if it's a call-only ad, it could be cost per call, pay per call, because that is the actual conversion, successful conversion action that you want done. That's what you want somebody to do when they see your ad. What's the action you want them to take? So that is, again, a PPC, pay per click, or CPC, cost per call. So you see this ad here from Spice House, how it actually brings out exactly what they have, as well as it has different extensions here saying contact us, and then also mentions their blends, because I could have gone to a spice festival and then decided that I want to see some of their master blends. And so as I'm looking for that, it's presenting, or I might know about their fennel spice, but I didn't know that they had a master blend. So it gives more opportunity, and it truly increases the size of the visual real estate, which is very important. That's why I'm such a fan of the Google Business Profile, because with that, you get that all that prime visual real estate and extending even longer as you put more different functions into it, like Q&A, or you load up your products and services, and you get that for free. I know people pay for that in ads, but there you get it for free. Now, to access any of this, you have to have a Google account. So again, if you've got a free personal Gmail account or a free Google account, then what you can do is you just need to log into the account, and then you're going to go to the ads website that I'll give you in just a moment. It will recognize your credentials and you're in. But if you don't have a Gmail account, you do not have to have one. You're just going to set up a free Google account using the URL at the bottom left-hand corner, and now you will create a password. You will use the email address and set that up that you have. It doesn't change it to Gmail. And just like any other password protected site online, that's how you're going to access all these free tools. So once you're logged into that through your Google account or your Gmail account, now you'll go to g.co/ads, all right? And this is where everything starts. It looks like this when you click on the sign in. If you're logged into the account that you are managing all of your business stuff with, all you have to do is click sign in. It'll remember your credentials and it'll bring you into ads. Now, by default with ads, this is where you end up. So by default, you'll start here. I'll show you in a little bit, like Renee, who already knows how to use Google Ads. I'll show you how you can get past this. But this is where we start, just because it gives everybody the basics and the system and structure you need to be successful with ads, which starts with your goal. What is your goal? And remember what I said yesterday about smart testing your goal. Hello, Monica. Not too late. We're ready to, we're into it and already talking about how you can set up a Google ad. So it starts here when you go to this site, g.co/ads, after you're already logged into your free Google account or Gmail account, and you'll be dropped into here when you want to start ads. This is known as a smart campaign. So smart test your goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Once you've done that, you're going to choose that goal, or actually you're going to choose the goal first and then make sure it's smart tested. But do you want more phone calls? Is that really how you're going to measure whether this ad is successful? Do you want more people to buy on your site or to sign up? So it could be to fill out a contact form, download a PDF, watch a video all the way to the end. Or is it to actually come into your physical location? You want foot traffic, you want people in the door. So that's the focus, because once you let Google know exactly what your focus is and your goal, it will now adjust everything to make those goals inevitable and provide to you the best tips as well as the best structure. So you'll see the backside of that, and you can take away or add whatever you need to or customize it, but it'll give you a structure based on AI, artificial intelligence, of the history of your account, or if it's brand new, the history of the industry. So now you'll put your business name here. All right, once we got our business name in here, we just click next. Now you're going to enter your actual location. So you can put their website here, which is really important, but now slow down a moment. What are you advertising? Because do not make this mistake. Do not take them to your home page. That is the #1 most costly mistake people make with ads, is they take them to the home page, because they get thrilled to death that they get these eyeballs looking at their site and they just want to show them everything. So they throw them to the home page, which is super confusing. If you told them that you were going to showcase exactly how they can use this new creamer to give them good eye lift, and now they have to go to the home page where you're talking about skincare and you're talking about cleansing, and they can't find the creamer, and if they have to do that, now they go on to the next site. They bounce off. So if you ever look at your Google Analytics, read your bounce rate, and your bounce rate on industry average needs to be about 50%. If it's higher than that, it's telling you very clearly there's a huge disconnect between what people found over here, be it on an ad or a social post with a call to action or your email marketing, and they came into your site and they didn't find what they're looking for, and they bounced and left and didn't do a thing in 60 seconds, 1 minute or less. That is what actually determines your bounce rate. And if it's 80%, that means 8 out of 10 people who came to your site did not find what they're looking for. There was a total disconnect and they left. Do not make it confusing for them, especially if this is somebody new just coming to your site, because you need to build trust and credibility. And the way you do that is by taking them where you told them you're going to take them, which is exactly what we're doing here. So click next after that. See right here at the bottom right-hand corner, before I go to the next slide, that live chat is there. So you do have help along the way. Do not feel alone. Now you're going to write your ad. What's nice is right here, look at the bottom right-hand corner of each area, like headline. So right under the line here where you're going to type the headline, it will let you know how many characters you have available. So that's alphabet, punctuation mark, or space counts as a character. You only have 30 characters to play with in each headline 1 and headline 2. This is very important that you know the words that people use, because again, that relevancy of Google's algorithm, the #1 pillar that decides where things show up in organic search, is also at play here in ads. And you have to match it, be relevant to the real words that people are using, whether they say, hey Google, hey Alexa, or they type it in. So now you'll go in here and put your headline. Again, you've got 19 here, 30 characters. Boy, I just went blank on that. 30 characters here, 30 characters here, 30 characters here that you can play with. 3 headlines. Then your description, you have 90 characters. That's all you have. So we really need to think succinctly, but we also need to not shorten and use abbreviations, not that other people won't understand or the algorithm won't understand. Then you're going to go into your second description here, and of course a call to action in your button. So it could be a call button that you're using, an actual phone call, or you're just going to put a call to action and link to your site, depending on what your goal is what we'll present here in this page. So now we look and see to the next page, or the next, when we click next, what happens is you have the opportunity now to choose your keyword themes. Google, because this is a smart campaign, is using AI with your industry, from its experience with the industry that you're in. It will pull up what it thinks the keywords are that match well. You have the opportunity to X those out if you don't feel that works for you. For example, if it pulled up, let's say, HEB spice store, so HEB is a grocery store here in Texas, and you're a specialty spice store, so you're not wanting to pay for any click or any action taken with HEB because that's not you, then you would X that out. So you're not paying when somebody clicks on that phrase. But let's say you really want people to know that they can get spices online shopping. When people are searching or saying, hey Google, where can I find spices online and do some shopping? Now you want to show up. Or where can I find gourmet spices? You want to show up there. So you're going to click the plus sign here. It will move all of them up here and they will be used within your ads. So X to remove or plus to add. Once you click next, then you have the opportunity to look and see whether or not you want to have an advertised to a location and be seen a circumference around your actual location, or if that doesn't matter to you, you know exactly that your best customers aren't even here, they're not even in the same state, then you might want to include the zip codes, the cities, or the regions where they're at. Now, how do you know where that information is and where they're from? It's either from information that you've garnered from your customer when they've ordered, they checked out, and they had to have where that was going to be delivered, or you're using Google Analytics. And Analytics is letting you know exactly the zip code, the city, and the areas that most of the people who come to your site and buy from your site or do any success conversion action on your site, where they're coming from. And you can take that information and apply it here in Google Ads and really get the most bang for your buck. Now, step 7 is you're going to set a budget. Here is where I let Google take the lead. The reason being is I'm not a set it and forget it gal. You know me, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 1 minute spent that's not lifting the bottom line or getting you closer to your goal is $1 1 minute spent too much. So what I will do here is go with the recommended, and I will use the recommended. Then I will wait 3 days and I jump back in here, and now I will measure my marketing. I give 3 days for it to be seen, to get a little bit of traffic and eyeballs. So now I can start making some good decisions. For example, if I spent $10 on an ad and it got me 1,000 visitors, and of those 1,000 visitors, they bought $2,000 worth of product, then I'm probably going to keep that ad, and I might even double it to $20 and see if I get 2,000 visitors and more money. Does it exponentially increase? But let's say I spend 10 bucks on an ad, it gets 1,000 people visiting, but only 10 people bought. So I got a lot of good impressions, a lot of good eyeballs, but I need to make sales or conversions. Again, I'm going to speak like an e-commerce person, but I want to let you know when I say sales, I mean it could be you're securing the contact information, or they're filling out a contact form to be a donor or a sponsor if you're a nonprofit. It could be they're filling out their membership form. It could be that they watch a video or they sign up for your email and they leave their email address. So whatever you consider successful, I'm going to say that's a sale, but it truly is a conversion, a successful conversion action. So I'll go with recommended and decide that. In fact, it's funny because I was helping out a friend do this, and I said, okay, let's do this. Now we go back in, and he actually had 2 ads running. One ad was doing great. 10,000 people saw it. Not a single one of them bought. Not at all. Then he had another ad, still spending $10 daily on that ad, and you can spend as little as $5 a day. But he was spending $10 daily on that ad, and he was getting just 100 people to look at it. But of those 100 people that looked, 90 of them bought. That's pretty powerful. So I told him, you know what, the other one's got a lot of eyeballs, but I know what impressions are, because I know from media back in the day when you're watching television, impressions could be just blasted out there to the television, but they could be going to the bathroom or getting their latest snack. So it doesn't mean they actually saw what you were promoting there. It's the same thing here. We're scrolling so fast, we might leave it on. We may be in a meeting like this and it's just on there, but we're really not looking at it. So his actual result of even only having 100 people look, but 90 buy, was much more powerful. And I was explaining to him, let's do that, and let's increase that and just take away from the other one. We don't need all those impressions unless you have some way to capture that information and know whether or not that would be a good target audience for you. You can also enter your own budget, but I don't encourage you to do that till you have some experience under your belt, because you can quickly lose a lot of money in ads by doing and making some simple mistakes. Let the smart campaign take over here until you're ready, like Renee, who knows exactly what he's doing in spending and budgeting and understands the auction process, because that's how you pay for ads in Google. Again, you only pay when somebody clicks or when they call. So let's go in a little bit deeper. What you can do then is check all of the information and review, and we'll finish that up then by saying that we're going to set it up and we're going to wait for Google's approval. It usually happens pretty quickly, and now you can actually measure the results of that campaign. This is what it looks like in Google Ads when you do have an ad running. You can see what phrases people are using, how much you spent, how many impressions you've gotten, and how many actual clicks. So clicks means they took action and they came to the site, the page on your site that you put there. Remember to take them to the page that is relevant. So if you're talking about creamer, take them to the creamer page, and then earn the right afterwards to get them to look at the rest of your site by saying, you know, this is a great one to pair creamer with because together these really brighten up your eyes. Or this is a great one to clean off the creamer because our creamer is so wonderful and waterproof, you want to use a cleanser for this. And you can also now manage your ad budget. All of that happens here. So when we are looking at our ad campaigns, we've got some things that are actually running in the background automatically in Smart Campaign that you'll see this in the handout you're provided too, is that it is automated. All of this, really deciding on what the budget is and the bidding, really the ad extension, your keyword creation, all of this is all automated, going from Google's experience and Google Ads experience with the industry. You also will get some simplified reporting, so it's not in-depth, but enough to make decisions, especially when you're busy trying to get your business done and take care of your customers. And then it will automatically pick different places that your ads will show. And you only can use one landing page per campaign. So do understand that a landing page is where somebody goes when they want specific information about something. It can be on your site or off your site where it's specifically talking about that one product or service. Now, the more advanced format of this is known as search campaigns. So you can see now you actually have control of this. But this is where you can make the biggest, most costly mistakes. So that's why I say start with Smart Campaigns till you'll feel comfortable with that. It gives a chance also for your ad account to get some experience under its belt. When it's got experience under its belt, then when you go to Search Campaigns and you're looking for suggestions, it's actually going from your data and not industry standards. Because you could be like my friend who has a dog product that runs about $200. You know, he can't go with industry standards of dog products and pet products because it's not a consumable, it's not kibble, it is a dog product that's 200 plus. So something at a $10 or $25 price point isn't going to match with exactly what he's doing. So he wants to go from his own actual ad account experience. Okay, I see a question here. Yes, Amy, Smart Campaigns are definitely that. And what's nice about Smart Campaigns is because as you're using Smart Campaigns, it's going to give you tips and tricks. Always look at that. You can decide, yes, I want to apply that, or no, I don't, or maybe it's just a great factoid, but it'll help you become better and customize some of the questions or decisions you need to make when you get to the more advanced search campaign. So you'll already feel more comfortable about it. Plus, your account will already have that rich history. Now, when you transition to expert mode, if you've ever used Google Ads before, when you get to the screen, because remember, when you start ads, this is by default the screen that you get to. You will see here in very small text, but in blue, it says switch to expert mode. That's where you click to completely bypass the Smart Campaign and go to expert mode. But do understand, this can be very expensive if you're not familiar with it. So I like to start with the Smart Campaign and use that live chat and pay attention to anytime I log in the back dashboard, any suggestions that are happening, because that's how you learn. I didn't grow up learning this. I was the same way when I started my business. I had people calling on me all the time. As soon as I hung my shingle out there, people wanted me to spend money on ads, on lots of different things, catalogs, promote this, you know, sponsor this. It's just amazing how many people reach out to you once they know you have a business. And it was really helpful to be able to know and have some sort of, you know, when I say a little bit of a lean to or assist when I was just starting out in ads for the first time. So in the advanced expert mode, you can also create campaigns. So you can set up different ad groups. Let's say I have an ad group that's focused just on Texarkana, but I've got another one focused on Artesia. And maybe the languaging is a little bit different, or it could be an ad group where I'm focusing just on people who shop in the morning compared to people who shop in the afternoon. Or maybe I'm talking about different aspects. You know, it could be that I'm selling a pizza and I'm talking about, you know, for a different generation group, I could say, hey, you know, it's time for the weekend. And the other is more weekend in your week, because it's somebody who's busy, who doesn't want to have to worry about cooking a meal for their family. So the graphics could even be different. Then after you create your ads, you can review and launch those. Now, any questions before we talk about improving your ads? Because we've talked about the basics of how to get started with a search campaign, which is more of the expert mode, or the smart campaign. But if you've got any questions at all, let me know. Okay, just let me know in that question box. So a text ad, what's in the ad? You pretty much saw that. I think we spent enough time going over the different characters that you have available. So you have to be really succinct, and this could be challenging to really come up with what are those characters. Now, just do you know that in your Google account, your free personal Google or your Gmail account, you have access to Google Docs, which works just like Word. And if you use that, it'll give you a word count there. So a lot of times I like to bring up a Google Doc, and it'll give me a word count or a character count. No matter what I click on, I can decide which one I want to look at more. In this case, it's a character count, so I know that it's staying within the space. Or you can type it right here and it will go to red once you go over the character account. But sometimes I just like to do it in another doc, so I'm ready to go once I get in here. And then remember that final URL. Where are you taking them? Where is it that they're going to really see whatever you're advertising? If you're advertising your gourmet spices, don't take them to the general spice. Take them to gourmet spice. Again, it's that building of trust, and take them where you told them you're going to take them. Now, for some great tips on ads, if you'll look at the bottom left-hand corner here, this URL, g.co/textadtips, really some really solid tips that will help you, and it'll help you also understand how your people, your customers, your prospective customers are actually searching. Are they looking for spice or specialty spices? What are some of the keywords that they're using? And remember, always have a call to action. It's because we are all so busy. We do need that help of connect the dots for us. What do we need to do next to get these amazing spices? I'll move my, let me see, move my pointer out of the way there. If you need to take a quick screenshot of that, because it'll be 24 hours before you get today's recording. And if you want a copy of today's slides, just put the number 8. The number 8 is all you need to put in the question box. It'll pick up the email address that you actually signed up with this and registered, and you'll get a copy of today's slides too at the same time that you do get a copy of the recording, okay? All right. Oh, number 8. Please don't write out 8. Just put the number 8, because the system doesn't understand that. It's looking for the number 8. Okay. All right. Some extra tips. Think about your focus ads and ad groups. You heard me talking about that. Maybe you're focused on Texarkana, Oklahoma here, Minnesota here, and maybe Tulsa, Oklahoma might be a little bit different than me focusing on Ada, Oklahoma, or maybe Oklahoma City is different than what I would focus in Durant, Oklahoma. All right. So think about how you can create different groups. You can write simple yet enticing ads. How can you encourage them and really help them visualize what this will do for them? Speak in benefit language. Nobody wants to know the features, right? We all have WIIFM tattooed on our head. It's our job as the people in business to connect those dots and close that gap by letting them know, how does this make your life better or easier? Test multiple ad variations. I'm all about testing, because while I love looking at data, I also want real data from people who could really do business with you. And I like to test and see which one's working, just like I was showing you with the budget. And then, of course, regularly review. Please don't set this and forget it. You can do that once you know what a winning ad campaign is. So I have some ad campaigns that actually have been running since 2013. Because every time I throw $10 more into that ad, it gets me, I already have done the math on it. Anytime I put $10 in it, it gets $1,000 more in sales minimum. So I need $10 here, $10 here. I know exactly what it's doing. I don't change anything. I don't change the wording. I don't change the graphic. Now, a lot has changed. You know, the benefit of the actual product has increased even more so. The physical appearance of the product has changed a little bit more so, but this ad works, and I'm not going to change what is already giving great return on investment. So regularly review your ad performance, and you can then go with the ones that truly are serving you and getting you the most business. Now, one of the free tools that you can use with your Google Ads account is the keyword planner. Oh, I love this. So now let me show you what this looks like in a smart campaign. So when you're in a smart campaign, you're going to see these phrases come up, these search phrases. So you can look and see even what the suggested keyword themes are. When you click on that, this will come up. It'll let you know how many impressions, so how many people it's actually reaching and broadcasting to. But clicks is a true action. This is letting you know there is now interest here. It's not just something that's playing in the background or scrolling across. It is right here now where they actually clicked. So let's say that I'm in Oklahoma City. So I have no interest in being in paying for when somebody clicks on Chicago spices. So I'm going to click this off. You're just going to click on this little blue button here, click that off, and now you will not have to worry about getting charged per click when somebody clicks on Chicago spices. Yes, that's 21,000 eyeballs I could get looking my way, but only 23 clicks, and that's not my best customer compared to essential spices. Look at that, only 839, 96 clicks. It would be better even if I could look at Google Analytics to see exactly who bought from there and how much money this brought in. But I will keep this one on, and I will click this one off. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, don't see any questions yet. Now, understand when you're looking at keywords, and I'll show you the free keyword planner in just a moment, but understand you have some decisions to make. There are broad keywords. That means anything around this, spice, right? So if I'm looking for, was Beyonce a spice girl, then your spice ad may come up. And if I click on it, then you're going to pay for it, even though I'm not looking at spices at all. I'm looking in asking the question if Beyonce is a spice girl. Now, what you can also do is use something that's known as a phrase. So you put quotations around it. So it's not going to look for if somebody asks if Beyonce is a Spice Girl, but it might be where if you say Spice Girls, because it's going to look at close variations, that's close enough that I might come up, and then somebody might click and they're not looking for spices, they're looking for Spice Girl. Now here, when you use the brackets, see those brackets at the end? This is very exact. So it's going to look for spice or spices, but it's not going to look for Spice Girls. So now I don't have to worry about Spice Girls at all being charged for that. I'm just looking at spices. And in fact, if I want to be super sure that's not happening, I would use, and this is in the expert mode. So in the smart campaign mode, you click the X here and you would X these out from your keyword theme. But in a search campaign, sorry, the more expert campaign, I would put negative, the negative sign girls, because I never want to show up when somebody's clicking on Spice Girls. So I see a question here. How long should we learn how to run Google Ads before we turn our first ad? Sabrina, you can play a lot in the background, but I would say put your first ad out and go with the lowest amount. So what happens when you do an ad budget? You do an ad budget that's a daily budget. So let's say you want to spend in 1 week, let's say you want to spend $25, or let's say 35, 7 days a week. So $5 is the minimum that you can spend on an ad, daily budget. What happens then? That equates to $35, 7 times 5, $35 a week. But what happens is sometimes, Sabrina, is on Monday, let's say Monday I was at a festival or I was at an event and I saw these spices. So now everybody's searching for that. So Monday, it's super powerful. And all of a sudden I hit the $5 budget limit, but people are still searching for it. So all of a sudden you'll see Google Ads jump to like $8 spend, but you told Google only $5 a day. Understand the time frame that the Google Ads are looking at is the entire week. So what's your budget for the week? 35 a week breaks down to $5 a day. So I spent more than $5, in fact, $8 on Monday. But on Tuesday, then everybody's like, okay, we're done with the festival excitement. Now we're full into work and we're in our jobs. So we're not spending a lot of time looking. And all of a sudden, instead of spending the $5, you only spend $2 because no one else is looking. With $2, you've hit everybody in the world who's looking for spices or in your area, wherever you target your ad. and there's no reason to spend the other 3. So you see how that all adjusted out to $5 a day. Same thing could happen on Wednesday. Now it's just $2 on Wednesday. Thursday, they're remembering, oh yeah, I wanted to make this over the weekend. I wanted to try this spice. So all of a sudden you jump again and it comes up higher. And let's say then you've hit a limit, you've gotten to $8, and that's as far as Google sees that, you know, your ad account should do, and it sees that anything else that it's going to present to, it's going to cost you more. Now it will actually message you. You'll see a little alert saying you're being limited by your ad budget, and you've got a decision to make. It's not going to make that decision for you, but it will adjust the 35 depending on which of the 7 days does best. It just won't go over the 35. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, so this is the keyword planner when you're in Google Ads. So you do need to set up and connect your Google Ads account so to your current Google account, so it does recognize you and your credentials. When you log in, it will automatically want to drop you into starting an ad. Don't worry about having to do that if you don't want to start an ad. It will ask you for a payment format and ask you to put in some sort of payment method like a credit card. You don't even have to do that, so feel free ignoring all those. Go straight up here to the wrench icon, so it's right here towards the most right third of the actual Google Ads platform, and you're going to look for keyword planner. Click on that. So if you don't run any ads right now, you'll only have one column like this. If you've run a lot of ads, you will have several columns like this, but keyword planner is always in the first column. What you're going to do there is click on keyword planner, and this will bring this up, and it will show you how many monthly searches, how many people are looking, how competitive is it. That's why I know, Renee, that automobiles, auto financing is one of the most costly words and phrases, excuse me, that you can spend in Texas, but vehicles are not. Okay, so you sometimes have to get creative because you'll start seeing, oh, I don't know if I want to spend $1.56, excuse me, per click or per call. So I don't know if I want to spend $1.56 or $1.46, but I do know I want to keep it down to 12 cents. So I'm going to look for other words, but still that live within that same word family. And I can do that, excuse me, in keyword planner here. Sorry about that. Okay. So that's what I mean by looking at it, looking at the monthly searches, determining which are the best keywords for you, and now you can develop a campaign around that, and you're making a smart decision. Remember, this is all in expert mode that you need to be in. How long? Oh, okay, I think I answered that question. No, maybe it's a new question. Let me see real quick. Assuming similar ads keywords, if 2 different photographers live in the same town, run ads, does Google favor the photographer with a larger budget? No, Lenore, it's actually the photographer that has the best confirmed properties, so Google assets. So is it the photographer, Lenore? It's the photographer, I should say, excuse me, that has linked all their Google tools. So every one of them is communicating and confirming to Google this is correct information. It's the photographer with the best reviews. So it's got to be 5-star reviews. Remember what I said about that in our first session together in the Google Business Profile. You need 5-star reviews with text. So just 5 stars with nothing said count as nothing. So those are just like 0 stars, nothing. You need a 5-star review with text underneath it, and you need 60 of them to compete in a service-based industry like photography. If you are an e-commerce site, I would tell you you need 112 of those to compete. So you need 60, and that'll determine where you show up. It also depends on the categories, sorry about that you chose for your actual categories, because then if you have more categories, those unique categories that you chose in your Google Business Profile, that actually shows up higher. Let me get a quick drink. Hold on just a second. I'm going to come off camera real quick. Better. It's just taking little sips. That wasn't working. I had to take the big gulp. Okay, get that dust out of my throat. All right. Does that answer your question there, Lenora? How long do you run an ad to see if it's beneficial before restructuring or upgrading an ad amount? Actually go about 3 days, and it will let you know whether or not, I mean, because there's sometimes where you run an ad, and if people aren't searching that in 3 days, you maybe have 5 or 10 people looking. Well, that's not a good sample size. So now you might need to go here to the keyword planner and be able to see, Sabrina, if there are other words that are more popular, and just really watch over that, especially if there's high competition, because there could also be high cost with that too. Make sense? Oh, 41 more reviews to go. Now, that's why I like that when you use Google Business Profile, you can reach out to local people who've known you even before they knew you were a photographer, and they can say, hey, you know, how was I as a volunteer? Because you've had other roles in your life where people have had a chance to still sample your expertise and your work ethic. So I would definitely reach out to them and ask them to leave a good review. All right. Now, ad extensions is something that just lengthens and expands the visual real estate of each ad. So there are call extensions, which means those call extensions are that somebody's going to make a phone call. They're only going to call from that. For example, with service-based industries that I work with, call extensions will come up with a number that Google uses to track whether or not somebody is calling from that ad. Do know that that is a specific number. It doesn't match your number. So a lot of times when somebody's doing a lot of good call ads and it's getting lots of leads and phone calls to them, I will explain to them, remember to get the phone number of the person who's calling. And also remember to give them your phone number, because the last thing you want them to do is to keep clicking on this ad to find you. You already spent the click once, don't have to spend it again. You've now talked to them and say, hey, this is my direct line if you want to call me, which really helps position them that they realize I've got direct access to you, which is kind of special. We like the exclusive. And then also, could I have your phone number in case we ever get disconnected, or I could be more help to you. I might remember something that would be helpful to you. I could call this number. So do ask that way, because the call extension number does not match your number. It is a tracking number, because now if I'm looking at tracking, I can go to you and say, listen, they're in the 817 area code. Do you service that area, or do you want me to tell Google, don't serve it to anybody who has an 817 area code, because that is not even a place that I could do business with or can travel to. Site link extensions are just that, different links to the site. So it could be, maybe I've got sunglasses and I've got Polaroid sunglasses compared to actual glass sunglasses. So I might have those in different areas, and I might want to put a site link extension in my ad to show that I do have that variety. Call out extensions is when you call out different features. Okay, this is a red dress, this is a blue dress, this is a black dress. So different features. And location extensions could be, this is us in Loma, California, in Artesia, New Mexico. This is us in, gosh, I just went blank on place, Texarkana, Texarkana, Texas. So it could be all of those that we're putting there for location extensions. Or it could be that, you know, maybe you service Houston, but also Sugar Land, Katy, Lenore, you know, could be a lot of different places. You also have other extensions available to you to actually lengthen that ad, that visual real estate, and that's price extensions, which I actually like, because it comes up with a little price tag icon that you can see under the ad, and it really kind of captures people's attention when they see a break in text. You also have different promotion extensions. So let's say you're having your great summer sale, so you might have an extension like that. It could be structured snippet, which means it's actually pulling from your website and coming up with some combinations of what looks best and what people are searching more. There could be app extensions. So maybe you have an app they need to download, and it's only going to show up when people are searching for an ad on a mobile device. Or an automated extension, which is really going from what you've put into your sitemap and putting some of those together, and now changing those up depending on how somebody searches. Now, we talked about measuring success, because this is really important. Remember, if you walk away with any mantra here in boot camp, that is, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing, $1 or 1 minute spent, that's not getting you closer to your goal or lifting that bottom line, is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. I know you guys are going to get sick of it, but you're going to know it. And I hope it helps you save money and make more money. So as we look at our ads here, how are they helping us reach our business goal? We don't want to just add and blast to people if we don't have a goal and we don't have a way of measuring that. So it's important for you to know the terminology when you go to the back office of Google, or you look at any tool where it's measuring how your Google ads are doing, and that's impressions are just, that's blasted out, it just shows up there. We know it from back in the day with newspaper and television. Impressions are just out there. People saw it. Clicks, though, really show that there's an interest in this information. So the user or the person who's searching now is shown, that's kind of interesting to me, and I have some kind of interest or focus on that. So that's when they click. A conversion, though, means that they actually did what you wanted them to do. They bought, or they signed up for the service, they left their email address, they filled out the contact form, they downloaded the PDF, whatever is it that you wanted them to do, they have now done it. So that's a conversion. That's something successful you want them to do on your site. So in smart campaigns, you can look at impressions, clicks, calls, and conversions. You can look at all of that within your actual insights when you're measuring. But also within search campaigns, the more advanced ones, you can see a whole lot more about how ad groups are actually performing, the clicks that are coming from certain keywords. So you get a much more in-depth and rich analytics. But do not just be fooled that you want this if you don't know what it's doing for you and you don't know what information you're looking for here. If you remember yesterday when I was talking about how you can make better business decisions with analytics, I explained the importance of smart testing all your goals, because that will let you know what gaps you have and information you need when you know the questions you need to ask to fulfill those gaps, to understand what it takes to make those goals inevitable. Now you can look at ads to help you close that, or look at what you're doing in your insights to help you close those gaps. That's why I say that all important part, and that's that foundation to ensure that you're not spending money and just wasting it by having some pretty graphs and pretty factoids, because we just don't want to be winners at Trivial Pursuit. We need to win the business. One way that can automatically be done for you, this in the background, is actually connecting your Google Analytics and your Google Ads together. Because if you connect these two together, now Google is understanding how people shop your site. Remember, analytics is how people consume information on your site. They look at page 1 and page 3. Do they go off to your competitors? Do they go out to social to get social proof and come back to your page? Or do they come from social and come to your page? Or was it an email that you're sent out? You can see all that, and it's teaching Google Ads when they're linked together. It also does confirm your information, but it teaches Google Ads what truly is working and who your best customer is. And in the terms of artificial intelligence, I like these two working together, because they truly are doing better than I can do as an individual every single day in feeding the information to this tool. It's automated now. It's also giving me some great suggestions on what's best or how I might be missing my market. Make sense to everybody? All right. So to get analytics, we talked about it yesterday, but if you're new to Bootcamp, if you'll go to this URL up here or at the bottom left-hand corner, they're one and the same. Be signed into your Google account, your free personal Gmail or Google account. Click sign into analytics. It'll pick up your credentials and it will let you in. And now you have that opportunity to measure your marketing and put your measurement from your site together with ads, because that's where we're normally driving people from our ads to our actual site. Okay? Deep breath. Covered quite a bit. Now, what questions do you have? As you're formulating and writing your questions in the question box, I am going to go over some free resources that some of you who've been in boot camp, you're like, old hat, you could probably say this already more and better than I can. But it's important for us to know that everything that we've been talking about in boot camp is about understanding our customers' journey. Their decision path is really our job to know. We have to be experts in our customers. So it could be that they're just wanting some information and wanting a gift, and they go out to search, they start reading things and looking at online reviews and watching YouTube videos. They might even visit sites. They might even watch some other videos, giving you more insight. Remember what I said about all those Google tools connected together and all the confirmation and teaching it does, the artificial intelligence? I like it to understand the well-roundedness in every aspect of my customer, because I just don't have enough time to find out all that information. I've got to still take care of business. So as I look at this, it will tell me as they connect together who's looking through search, who looked at a video here, what are they reading? And now I can have them check the email or even present to them in email marketing, hey, take a look at this. I've got this wonderful coupon because I think this is of interest to you, and be seen as a champion to them, because not only did I help them find what they're looking for, but I did a better job articulating what their need was. So I'm seen as a trusted advisor, and they will now step over dollars to do business with me. So consider that as you look at the search. Some of the free resources that can help you are Grow on Air. Every quarter, we have a free live stream that we do called Google Grow on Air that really covers what are the most immediate things happening of concern or of benefit to the small business community every quarter. You can also reach out to your Google partner who invited you to ask them when the next Grow on Air is, when the second half of Business Bootcamp is, when they're doing their next webinar, when you need help or you need assistance, or if they could even reach out and ask a question of the Google team for you. These are your amazing Google partners who co-hosted today and worked together really as a team to make sure this was available to you. And I want to give them thanks and props, because this has been an amazing boot camp. And I feel so grateful and honored to have the opportunity to work with so many community organizations that truly want you to be successful. As somebody who comes from a small business background, who remembers 20 plus years ago, people thinking that I was just doing something as far as a hobby, thought that was fun. They didn't even understand the struggle that I was going through. It was people like your community organizations here who listened to me, who were able to connect me and provide me resources from other people who have expertise that I didn't even know. I could learn from their experience, and I was able to benefit. I am truly a product of organizations like this coming together to help make sure a business has the most and biggest success opportunity in front of them. And I am very grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of such a successful boot camp and help you all be successful in reaching customers online and growing your business. So any questions here? Your question is, how do we keep your store from being shut down by Google? Well, don't do any of the things that are in violation. So I would Google Google's terms and service. And in fact, know that if you have had a Google ad account for any amount of time in the last 3 or 6 months, you may have been asked to verify your identity. That does happen from time to time with Google Ads because we want to make sure that you're a real person and a real business. So you'll verify your identity. And the second half of that most people miss is that you not only have to verify your identity, but you also have to confirm that you agree with Google's terms and conditions. All right, you're not going to promote a bomb or use hate speech, or if you're going to promote something that's a limited product or service or something where there's specific guidelines, like let's say if you have CBD or anything like that, then you do have to watch exactly what words you use, but it will let you know, and you do have to agree to that. So some people were shut down because they did not agree to the terms and conditions and they missed that second part of the identification process. So I hope that's helpful. Absolutely, Tammy. I'm so glad I can help your members grow. I am truly honored for this opportunity. And I truly do delight when people share their success with me. I've got some people who were in a webinar with me 2 years ago who are telling me just about how they've grown and how many people they've hired, if they open a new location, or they're even going to another global market and exporting. It's just phenomenal. So I love to hear that. Lori, I have my LLC set up in banking, spotty internet now. Oh, did I miss the number for the slides? Yes, Terry, the number 8. Just put the number 8 there so you can get that. Any other questions before we finish up? Remember to reach out to your local Google partner because they are there for you and they're much easier to reach than me. And then do know that you still have Google Primer available to you, which is really cool because it's an app that you can download on iOS, so iPhone or your Google or your Android in Google Play. But a lot of good lessons in there, and we update that regularly to keep you top of what you're doing. And then you guys have heard me talk about this before, the free certificates that you have available to you because they're scholarships till the end of the year. So you might want to take a look at that here. And then for those of you who really want to take a deeper dive and decide, you know what, maybe I want to offer Google training and offerings like this, then you can go to Google Skill Shop right here and really showcase that you understand and know the Google tools. You do have to be certified every year and keep your certification up, but this is something that you might want to consider because remember all those Google partners I listed a moment ago, there are chambers of commerce here that are looking to do business with local members to be able to support them and say, hey, you can do their Google ads for them. You don't have to just reach out to one of the trainers, national trainers, you could do this too, okay? Let me see what questions. I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to stop the recording. Yep, I'm going to stop the recording right now. And